It is about time the Las Vegas Raiders got their quarterback situation right in this offseason. I think it's safe to say that the Raiders set themselves up for failure last offseason when they signed Jimmy Garoppolo and Brian Hoyer to the roster. We all know how that turned out. It ended up being Aiden O'Connell, a fourth-round rookie quarterback who was a starting quarterback by the end of the season. And luckily for the Raiders, there's a few different ways they can address that issue in the offseason. And with the latest Jimmy Garoppolo news of him being suspended for 2 games and then eventually released by the Raiders, they are going to be saving some money. That suspension should void his $11.25 million salary guarantee for 2024. So they will have a little bit more money to play with. And according to an ESPN reporter, she believes that the Raiders should prioritize and target veteran free agent quarterback Kirk Cousins, who is arguably the best available veteran quarterback on the free agent market. Now I'm just going to be giving my thoughts and opinions on this. Should the Raiders go after Kirk Cousins, and should they go the veteran quarterback route? Let's talk about it. And when it comes to this whole Kirk Cousins situations, the first thing that we have to take into consideration is the financial aspect of signing a guy like Kirk Cousins. What would a Kirk Cousins contract look like at this point of his career? According to Spot Track, they project that he's going to command a contract right around the $40 million range, and NBC Sports' Mike Florio suggested that the 4-time Pro Bowler's next deal could approach $45 million per season. So given the information, I think you got to be prepared to pay a guy like Kirk Cousins anywhere around the $40 to $45 million range for him. And the Raiders are a team that, luckily, they are pretty flexible when it comes to their current cap salary situation. They currently have the 11th best cap salary in the NFL, and they can also get creative when it comes to generating more cap space moving forward by restructuring some contracts. And also, if they release a player like Hunter Renfrow, that would save them about $8 million. And currently the Raiders have about $48 million available, but making some moves, they can easily get up to the $60 million range. So it's safe to say they have enough money to sign Kirk Cousins. But if they do go that route, it would not give us much money to really work with to help improve other areas of the roster. They still need to add depth in areas like the offensive line, and this would make it harder for us to sign one of the premier defensive players in free agency, especially the defensive tackle position. There's definitely quite a few good options in this free agency period, and if you sign Kirk Cousins to like a $45 million contract, well, that's definitely going to take a huge chunk out of the cap salary for this season. And not only just the financial aspect when it comes to Kirk Cousins, I think another thing you got to take into consideration is that Kirk Cousins is coming off of an Achilles injury, and he's getting up there in age, being 35 years old. To me, if you sign Kirk Cousins, you would have to give him at the very least like a 2-year, $80 million contract, and I would assume he would command anywhere from like $45 to $55 million in guaranteed money. And to me, this is just a huge risk that I'm not really willing to take. I still think the Raiders should prioritize the quarterback position in this offseason, and Antonio Pierce has made it clear on several different podcasts that quarterback is a position they will be looking at in this offseason. They would like to add competition to that room for rookie quarterback Aiden O'Connell. So I definitely still want us to look at the quarterback position, but I think we need to do that via the draft. I think if we're going to go the free agency route, I think you just got to get a guy who's not going to cost you a whole lot of money and really just going to be another backup with maybe some upside to be a fringe starter for us. But really, I think in free agency, there's not going to be an answer for us at the quarterback position. Typically, if you want to get your type of player at the quarterback spot, you're going to have to do it via the draft, or you're going to have to trade a lot of assets to get a quarterback from some other team. So when it comes to the financial aspect, he's going to cost a lot of money. He's coming off of an injury. And also too, Kirk Cousins is really not a quarterback I'm really sold on. He does have some good qualities to his game. He's a gunslinger. He's got a good arm. He's not afraid to be aggressive. But at the end of the day, Kirk Cousins is still a quarterback who has not won that big game in his career. And he's just a guy who has a reputation of just not playing up to the expectations in the big games, especially come playoff time, and that is not the type of player I want. To me, you got to be confident as hell that signing Kirk Cousins would be the missing piece to making this team a legit playoff contender to justify this type of signing, and I just really don't see him being that at this point of his career. I also don't really see how he would be a fit in the culture that Antonio Pierce is bringing in here. And in my opinion too, if you're going to bring another quarterback in, I want you to bring in somebody who has a threat to use his legs and not just another pure pocket passer with a nice arm, because I feel like we already have that in Aiden O'Connell. I don't want two quarterbacks that have very similar skill sets. Let's bring in some variety and let's bring in some real competition. So to me, Kirk Cousins is not the answer, and just in general, free agency doesn't really seem like it has a whole lot of answer for us at the quarterback spot. I think in free agency we should prioritize building some depth on the offensive line though, and I think this free agency period could be a huge opportunity for us to get aggressive on the defensive side of the football, because I think we already got a good nucleus, a good foundation to build off of this defense. I think to end the year, the Raiders were ranked about top 10 when it comes to points per game, but if you look at the run when Antonio Pierce was the interim coach, we were ranked number 1 in this category. This defense definitely took a huge jump forward. They took a huge leap. So just imagine what this defense could look like if you sign a legit defensive tackle in this free agency period. If you sign a Chris Jones, or if you can't get him, if you can reunite Leonard Williams with Patrick Graham, if you get Christian Wilkerson out of Miami, if you bring in a veteran who can just be a day one starter for you at the defensive tackle position, and then you still got a guy with a lot of physical upside and Tyree Wilson that could be sharing reps with him and just allow him to develop, this defense could be very scary moving forward. The defensive line could just be absolutely dominant with Max Crosby, with a young emerging Malcolm Coombs on the opposite side. And like I said, you just fill in the defensive tackle spot. I think this defense could be scary moving forward. And if the Raiders are able to build a good roster on the defensive side of the football, I think that gives us a little bit more confidence moving into the draft to potentially moving up for a quarterback. If they truly feel like that quarterback is a missing piece for them, whether that be a Jaden Daniels or whether that be a JJ McCarthy, a Michael Penix Jr., whoever it may be, I think that's the way the Raiders should approach this free agency period and this offseason in general. I think we should stay away from Kirk Cousins, but those are just my thoughts and opinions. I definitely want to get your guys' feedback in the comment section down below. What do you guys think, Raider Nation? Do you think we should target a veteran quarterback like Kirk Cousins? Let me know in the comment section down below. But with that being said, that is all for you guys in today's video. Anybody that's new to the channel and you guys love Raider related content just like this, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. With that being said, I will see you guys in the next one.